Okay, there's the finished product, and built and put on the in front of the window with the plants on it. We built it last night, my wife and I. There's the fish tank with 25,000 baby fish in there. Okay, I'm going to apologize for the poor quality because right now my GoPro is stuck on stupid and won't do something. So I already started this video once. I'm taking it out of the box. I don't know if you noticed on this, it looks like these little brackets here were an afterthought and they're ugly. So the very first thing I'm going to do is take them out of the box, take them outside, spray paint them white. And I'm going to do that first so that they can be drying. I've got to find them. They're in here somewhere, I'm sure. Okay, here it is. That bag's already ripped open. There are no extra parts and pieces. So this little bag here will have this molly in it. Looks like it's ripped open too. We're not going to use, that's for attaching it to the wall. But here are those little brackets that I'm going to take outside and spray paint. I'm going to spray paint one side of them because one side shows, one side doesn't. So there's no sense in wasting my time on two sides. Alright, be right back. Alright, here's my outdoor fix-it-up table. This is the spray paint I'm going to use. It's a primer. And it says interior kills, which is it kills mold temporarily. So this is good to use inside the house if you've got a little bit of mold on something white or something you're going to paint. You can paint it with this first and it kind of seals it in there. Stops the water from getting to it from one side, not the other. Alright, so I'm just going to spray paint those across there. Here's an interesting little fact. The reason you shake these up so much is there's you can hear it in there. It's a little glass bead or a steel bead that bounces up and down in there and breaks up the solids. When it sits for very long, all the paint gathers in there and turns solid, or doesn't turn solid, but yeah, I guess it turns solid. So what you're doing is breaking those solids up. And if you've got trouble with the nozzle clogging all the time, it's because you didn't shake it up well enough. Alright, hopefully I've shook this up well enough now that I've said that. Now, it takes this stuff probably 30 minutes to dry. So that's why I wanted to do it first. Now I've got this, and I'm going to use it on the one that's already built. It's just like a magic marker that's white. You can also use white fingernail polish, or back when there was typewriters they had stuff called whiteout. I don't know if anybody still uses that anymore, but you can use that too. Or you can just live with them that color. Alright, be back soon. So now I'm going to take stuff and organize it into piles. I'm trying not to spill them on the floor. Look at that. I got to go back outside and paint two more. Okay, so there's those. And again, there are no extra parts and pieces. It does come with Allen wrenches, and there's two of them. And one of them's not an extra. I'll show you later, but you need both of them. And these are wood dowels and plugs. There are extra wood dowels, or there was on the other one, and the plugs. Alright, now I'm going to clear everything out of the box and start building it right here on the kitchen table. The other one we did on the floor. And the lighting's bad in there and it's hard on my back, so we're going to do this one right on the kitchen table. Okay, I will get this all out of the box, organized, and be right back. There's the instructions. There's the bag of stuff I'm not going to use. Here's all my parts and pieces laid out. And I counted them. Plus, if at the end I've got a piece left over, I'll know I messed up somewhere. Alright, these little things right there, I'll probably show you later, they're marked with how they go and where they go. All these pieces have numbers on them, or letters on them, A, B, C, D, and so on. Now on the ends of them, you notice the holes are offset and different sizes on the cross members. Alright, I'll video tape the next one and get back to you. There's Holly B. Alright, we're on number 1, assembly. And then a whole bunch of other languages. I'm a cheater. So there's the screwdriver, you'll be needing that. I'm going to be using this for some of it. And this right here is an Allen wrench bit that fits in that. It has a Phillips in it now, but they change out. And then this is a Phillips bit in that. And a lot of it you'll be using this because you don't want to ream them out. Okay, so those stickers you can peel off when you're done. They're on the exposed side. So after we get to that point, we'll peel them off. Or if you don't mind, you can leave them on there. I don't care. Alright, so let's get on to step number 1. And it says, put the dowels and the screws marked M. M. Now those have the Allen on them, which is what this is. Allen. So if you don't have, you know, a whole assortment of tools, everything you need is right here. You just need that screwdriver. Alright, let's I'm going to put the dowels in, flip these over to put the dowels in, and then I'll show you what to do after that. Okay, so this is laid out just like it shows on the picture. And I'm going to try to follow this the best I can until I see it making a mistake. Each one of these has the hole in the end, a big one and a small one. You can see I put the dowels in here, in the hole that doesn't go all the way through, the bottom hole. I've laid out a screw in each one, just get it organized. Now I'm going to put these in one at a time. Slid right over the dowel. I guess I should have told you these are dowels. I don't know what they call them in the book. But now this goes in here. What was that one? M. Now you can use Allen wrenches, and I'll try to do some with Allen wrenches, and then I'll move on to the drill, just so you can see. I'm moving that out to the edge so that I can get the Allen wrench to spin. Now, as you see, as I'm turning this thing wobbles back and forth. The dowels are supposed to hold it in place, and they kind of do. But when it quits wobbling back and forth, you know you're tight enough. And it takes some muscle to do this. Okay, now it's not wobbling back and forth much. You want it to wobble a little bit. If you over tighten this, you'll strip it out in there. Alright, now we'll do the next one. Same thing. Goes in there. This goes in here. And the same thing all over again. Now, I'm in a hurry, so I'll switch over to my drill real quick. That's in there, that's in there. Here we go. This has a clutch in it. That's what that noise was, so the clutch is set up so that I don't strip them out. Tightens them up just right. That is a little tight. So I'm going to pound that dowel in like that. It's still a little tight. This will suck it over. Now, if you show the camera here, you can see where the screw pulled that over. Now I'm going to finish tightening it. There. Okay. Now, let's see what the instructions say for the next one. I gotta do, which one is that? D. That is this one, so I'll get this. Okay, here we go again. One more time. Put the two dowels in this one. And if you look down the hole, you can see one's drilled out all the way, and the one next to it is not drilled out all the way. So these go in the one that's not drilled out all the way. Because you don't want them to go through. There's a hole on this side that these go through. Now, these are all E's, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. It's just that the dowel lines up and the screw lines up. And there's probably B again. So that goes there, and that one tightened up nicely. That goes there. So I guess you can see that the back side of the E's is the letters on the back side. See if that'll help you. Still a little loose, but we're about to fix that. Okay, my camera person had to leave to take care of some other project, so I'm going to try to do this one-handed. Alright, I've got it started. Holly B wants to go outside to play. That's what she's whining about. She's not hurt. She's just being silly. Holly B, come over here and show them how to smile. Show them how to smile. No, you're not smiling. That's kind of a smile. All right, all right. I'll turn this off and give you loves. That one was a little tighter than it should have been. Okay, where are we at? We just finished off with I'm already confused. Picture's good, word's bad. Number's that one, 7. Okay, we'll edit this and I'll come around and get this organized. See where I left off. We're moving on to step 3, which is these little doodads. And it gets confusing. They go in the holes that's left. This is B, which is before. Now it's B after. It was. All right, we're moving on to step 3. And it's showing to put in these screws into those holes. And they are a Phillips. There's Buddy. He doesn't need to be in the camera much. And I got my Allen in here, so I'm going to switch it out to a Phillips. I guess I could do one with the screwdriver first, huh? Just so you can see me doing it. Alright, there's your Phillips and the screwdriver. Now these holes don't go all the way through. These, there, they got tight, so I stopped. They hang up out. The holes don't go all the way through. It wasn't that hard to do it with these, and I don't want to strip them out, so I'll just do this. More. Yeah, fat fingers. That one's a little tight. Taking forever to get there. Now if this one's tight, I'm using the drill. I guess I should show you that there are different sizes of Phillips. So this is PH2, PH Phillips size number 2. And they come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes, but that's the most common. There's also PH number 1 that we'd use on a smaller screw, and a PH number 3, which you hardly ever use. Sometimes they're on like door hinges, something really big. Alright, it's usually a PH number 2, Phillips number 2. Now that's done. Now it says do the same thing on D, which is over here. My honey's helping me today. Actually, I'm helping. We're helping each other. How's that? So I'll just keep going. Now, if you don't have a drill, you're probably cussing me right now. I think everybody's got one. I'm going to loosen the clutch up on this. That one felt like it was a little too tight, but that's something I would notice, most people wouldn't. Okay, that gets out of the way, that gets out of the way. So we've done 3 and 4. Switching over to, and don't get ahead of yourself. Go by the numbers, because if you flip the page and then set that down, you're going to get confused. Alright, so now we're going to 5, which is to start setting these in. And we're going to start with number B. And the biggest one is F. So I'm going to find the biggest one, which is F. Now remember, I showed you that the distance, the holes are offset. I don't know if you can see that, but the distance from the hole to the edge is bigger on one side than the other. One side's the front, one side's the back. So let me get this out of the way. Someplace where the dogs and kids won't get after it, because they can break right now if you're not careful. Alright, that's the biggest one. Now you can put these on backwards. It'll still work, but I'm going to show you what happens. Okay, this is on backwards. So now it's not sitting completely on the cleat here. It's not going all the way to the back wall. And it's sticking out past there. So that's how you can tell that you've got it on backwards. It'll stick out past. Now I'm just going to turn it end for end, put it back on. Now if you haven't done IKEA furniture before, of this kind, I'm getting 2 of these things here, and if Cindy will come around the other side, I'll show you how they work. So now, coming up out of there is this, and you can see the end of it in that hole. Now this thing goes in that hole, and it slides right over the top of the screw that's in there. Then you turn it clockwise or righty-tighty till it's tight. You can go too far. It won't hurt anything, but just go to where it snugs up. So now,
it's really hard to see that.
Should I get in the light better?
No, it's just...
Okay, so I'm holding this there. There's that little arrow. So that will slide right over the top of that. Then it has another arrow telling you which way to turn it. So now I'm going to put it in. I'll take the screwdriver. I'm going to turn it till it's snug. Now you can go over tighten those and it'll snug over and push out there. Not that big of a deal, but if you go really tight, it could start busting this hardwood. You're right. The wood that's hard, not hardwood. Okay, now, where's that one? Now the one that goes here is G. And it's got the G right there. And I think the G is the front. So here's the G up here. Missed. That's going in there. Alright, we have done 7 and 8. That's lock these things in. They're done. So we're moving ahead to number 9. Now, last night I had to take some screws out because I jumped ahead of myself a little bit by putting the M's in before doing the O's. Got to get those O's into here. This is the right one, so I'm going to turn it over. We're going to put 4 of these in. Real quick. Oops. And we got company again. Keep turning the camera off and on. So I'll turn this off and get back to you. This one's done. Backwards. Okay, I'm going to switch out the Phillips. 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. And 6 of these. Now, this is going to send some of you for a loop. They've got little holes drilled in them here and here. They don't line up. But as I mentioned before, I think this is an afterthought. So here's how I overcame the problem. I'm going to get one in there. Now it's not tight. Now I'm going to move this over to where that lines up. And of course this is on the face of it, the show side. Now there's 2 ways you could do it. You could drill your own hole or just do it like this. But every time you drill the hole, you're making it weaker. Now I'll tighten this one. And that's the way I fixed it. So that one's done. Now we're going to put the pieces together. Now the other one we did had extra dowels. This one has no extra dowels. So the dowels go in the outside. Want to knock this over, so we got to be kind of careful with it. And I always Now, if you put this on backwards, you won't notice until you go to put it against the wall. But if you could look down up like this, you'll see that this is straight and this is straight. If I put it on backwards, it'd go like this. Okay. Now, at the beginning of the video, I told you you're going to need 2 Allen wrenches. That's because there's one Allen wrench that goes in this one and one in this one. I'm going to drop that right there. Grab these 2. Put that up underneath. Now you see that raise up. And you can cross thread these, so these are metal on metal, so don't force it. Alright, well, I didn't need the other Allen wrench. It grabbed. We'll see about this one. And this one grabbed as well. Okay. The plugs. Now these may be the hardwood plug, or when you bought it off the line, they told you it was hardwood. I think these are hardwood, but maybe that's all. The whole thing, the rest of it's wonderboard. I wonder what it is. Alright, so the one we did yesterday, we made a mistake and did that. So kind of be careful. Now that one doesn't want to go in, so it needs to be pounded. Or hammered, or whatever you want to say. That one needs a little bit of hammering. That one needs a little bit. They actually don't need to be hammered, but not hurt. Now, this is all the way in. There's nothing I can do to get it out but make it worse. I'm just going to knock those in a bit so that when the wood swells up and shrinks, swells up and shrinks, that's not going to fall out. Alright, Cindy told me I wasn't explaining myself well. So this bracket that goes with them other things will screw into there with the smaller screws that came in that same Molly package. Then the long screw would go through there and then into here. So you would put it where you want, drill this through the sheetrock, and maybe you'll hit a stud, maybe you hit some wiring, maybe you hit some plumbing, who knows. Then you take it out, you drill it out big enough for this to fit in the sheetrock. Then this would be sitting like that. That'd be all together. You put a screw in there, then it goes into this thing that's in the sheetrock. Now when that goes in, it's going to make this expand here. The screw itself will mushroom it open a little bit, not a lot. So if you drill the sheetrock out too much for this thing, they're not going to work. They really, I wouldn't trust them for holding something up that I don't want to fall on my grandkids. Okay, did I tell you everything?
Safe.